Nice fella.
I wanted to ask you, did you know an Alan Horning?
Alan?
Horning.
Alan Gordy?
Horning.
Horning, no, I didn't know.
No.
What barracks was he in, you know?
He wasn't in 17B. He was in the 303rd and was shot down, and they never found his body.
They never, oh no, I don't.
No.
Hey, that was at Molesworth, 303rd.
That's where you were stationed at?
And I was there for a while, 303rd, then I went to the 547th. I was shot down out of the 547th.
You were just with the 547th on that one mission?
Yeah.
And
we come up there to replace another crew, and that was it.
yeah. Was that after Schweinfurt? Is that why they?
Yeah. This is after the. See, Schweinfurt, they lost pretty much everything the 8th Air Force had over Schweinfurt. Some 60-some planes that day, and the 8th Air Force wasn't made up of that many. 100, maybe 200 planes at the most. But you normally, when you flew, you had 4 squadrons. 3 squadrons flew, and one plane out of each of those 3 squadrons had to stand down, except in a maximum effort like Schweinfurt when everybody went.
On any of your missions, did you have fighter support on any of them?
Well, we got Spitfire support, but just soon they didn't have any. They had no range, so just we got over the channel and they had to go home and get more fuel. But I wasn't there. I mean, the 51s come after I did, and they had long range. And, I never seen any fighters supporting, you know, the bombers up around when I was on Austria or anything, but I know guys I talked to that said they took them pretty near to Berlin at times. But that was after the invasion too. But we were, the B-17s were, they didn't have the range either that the new B-17s they brought over with the Tokyo tanks. They had big long range. We didn't have, in fact we probably weren't any better than the B-25. Might have carried a little bit bigger load.
Did you guys get attacked by fighters on all 4 of your missions before the one you got shot down?
Yep. Did we have fighters?
Did you see a lot of German fighters on your first 4 missions?
You always saw them, you know. Goring Yellow Noses were all along the coast of France. But a lot of times the weather was too bad for them to get up, and we bombed. But like when you go to St. Nazaire, you didn't see them because it was just in and out real quick. Milk run.
Did you ever shoot one down?
No. No. I don't know. It'd take a lot to prove that you shot a fighter down. They give you an air medal because it counts 5 points if you shot a fighter down, but you'd have to have an awful lot of proof, I think.
On your last mission, when you guys were coming back, were you firing most of the time, or were you busy doing other things?
Well, I was firing most of the time, but I had the pilot. We had those engines out, and the pilot was having trouble, and I had the props too. I was helping with the props, and so that's been. But there was not much after they had us crippled so bad, they pulled away and left us. They knew we couldn't get back, I suppose. You know. But it's hard to remember just what you do that day and that time. Yes.
And then on any of your missions, did your bombs ever get hung up on any of your missions?
No, we never had a hang up for bomb day.
Thank God, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We always got them away. But I know a lot of I talked to a guy from 92nd, and I don't know, he had 3 or 4 missions where they had hung up bombs in the bomb bay, and they landed, you know. They make a lot of room for you when you come back with a hung bomb.
Yeah. Well, I've talked to guys that had to go back there and kick them out.
Yeah, they could, you know, go back with a screwdriver and but see what they used to do, Paul, they hung bombs on both sides of the rack. Then they put a cable up to the top of this one and the top of that, and then they piled the bombs in, just piled them in there. And that's when they got the big load, you know, and when you dropped, why, they all went at once. But we never had trouble with the home bomb.
When you guys bombed the sub pens, what kind of bombs did you use?
Well, I don't know really. Truth, I suppose there's some armor piercing or something. I don't know, but I really don't think it did much good. They were so far underground. It's that St. Nazaire, you know, the sub pens were way back in there. Now the English, they had this blockbuster. Did you ever hear of it? Yeah. Now that really shook things. That was what was it, a 5,000-pound bomb or something? I don't know how big it was. It was the biggest thing they had over in the European theater. And that was the biggest bomb I ever heard of. The German bombs didn't mount them much. We used to walk around in London when the railroad was signed, you know, and you heard big bangs, but they didn't really do much damage, any more damage than our small blue bomb, which was a cinder area that flew out fire. We used an awful lot of those.
How many times did you get to London?
Huh?
How many times did you get to London?
Twice.
Twice?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Piccadilly. Oh, well, that's his. Piccadilly.
Sorry, Paul.
Piccadilly Commandos?
Yeah, lots of them. Both sex.
Yeah. Were you surprised at the bomb damage?
No, yeah, I was really, because I'd never seen, you know, that bomb damage. And my first trip to London was when I first got there, you know. And then, but the second time I went up, which was the mission before we got shot down, why it wasn't no surprise, you know. In fact, there was a lot of GI. There were a lot of people up in airmen up in around London after when they went off operational status. So many groups did after the Schweinfurt raid. Boy, they had time to go someplace. You didn't have to take aircraft recognition every day and all that. Did you ever see them take aircraft recognition? Where they flip it on the, what they call it, just that quick. You're supposed to name what it was.
It was like slides?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they just stuck it on there just that quick. Those, I wasn't too good at it. But Amundsen told us that anything that pokes his nose towards us gets shot at.
Thanks.
Larry, you want one? Larry, want tea?
No. No.
So you were in London one time when it got bombed?
No, I don't say I was where it got bombed, but they bombed the outskirts of London and we were walking around in it. But the guys all told me, he said, don't pay attention to it. And women used to say, the GIs run all over.
Did you see the German bombers though that day?
No, I didn't. They bombed at night over England. The English flew at night too. The Americans was the only one that flew the day missions.
the only ones crazy enough.
But I don't know. They never had any luck at nighttime bombing. The Americans didn't. And you have to be equipped. The aircraft has to be equipped for nighttime bombing with formation lights on top and everything, so you can hold in. But like the B-47, see, they flew a mile apart. Now I was up Whiteman, and they flew what they call formation, but they were a mile apart. And of course, with the speed it is, a mile ain't too much. Yeah.
And you said something about the gold star. They gave your mom a gold star. Had she been told that you were killed?
No, she got a notice I was missing in action. And somehow the school got it mixed up that I had been killed in action. And so they invited my mother over. They was going to hang a gold star for her. And my mother didn't go. And so this young, but John Young, the principal, thought that's something odd. So he went to see my mother, and she said, we don't know where he is. That took 13 months for him to find out where I was at. Wasn't it 13 months? Yeah. They found out from some woman was in South Africa or someplace that was on the radio and everything, and said that she read my name, and then some woman in Fort Wayne or someplace heard it.
New York.
New York. Some woman in New York heard it and called my mother and said I was at 17B.
How'd they know? They hear that on shortwave radio?
Yeah, I think they do it through the Swiss. You know, the Swiss Red Cross takes all their information, you know, about every 2 months they'd come to get the list of the new prisoners and everything, so they could register them with the Red Cross in Switzerland. And then I suppose they pick it up there and gets around. Red Cross like to do that because they get some money then.
The time that Wheatsey took you to see the priest, why did he take you to see the priest?
Well, I was Catholic at the time.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So did you tell the priest who you were and everything?
Yeah, I told him I was an American and where I was from and everything. And he gave me communion and everything, and then we went back to the barn or back to the house and then to Haymow again. But we got out of the Haymow during the day, you know. But just at night time was when we slept up there on the Haymow. I don't know, like I said, I don't know, sometimes I think Germans had something set up there or something, I don't know. Might not be true. Because we two was always so earnest, wasn't he, Mom? And
Who brought you food while you were there?
At Wheatsey's?
Yeah.
They did. They had the food from the farm. And, well, potatoes was our main meal. We had potatoes with a piece of fat, you know, with grease, mashed potatoes that put the grease over it. It was good. And then for supper we usually had porridge, wheat, and they had the milk from our cow, and we had porridge for supper. It was no great meal. Yeah. Wheatsey's mother used to she used to go to town. She could get some stuff with ration tickets, you know, but it wasn't very much. They got bread and stuff like that. About all I can think of. I know tobacco was rationed, and she used to get tobacco for Wheatsey and his brother, and they'd give me a cigarette of it or something, you know. It wasn't very good tobacco either. They got a lot of hemp in it.
Did Weetsy speak English?
Huh?
Did Weetsy speak English?
Oh yeah, he speaks very good English.
And he did at the time as well?
Huh?
He did at that time too?
Yeah. He studied English in school, and he studied the true English, and he was, he used a lot bigger words than I do when he talks. The last time I heard from him, he was on the school board. He paid the school teachers, didn't he, or something?
I think Christmas card with that one. Yeah, Christmas card.
I think he said that one time he said he had to give back because at the end of the month he had to make the teachers checks out for the district where he was taken care of. Before that, he worked for those two Dutch boys that had the cookie company, his cousins.
Bortman, Bortman.
Huh?
Bortman.
Bortman, yeah. You'll probably see Bortman's cookies. They have them at the Cornells around the stores, Bortman.
So when you guys were hiding out, what did you do all day? Did you work on a farm at all, or?
No, I used to, Weechie's grandfather used to take me back to the barn out in the field, where they had their cow and some pigs. But I didn't get out a whole lot. But, a walk in the evening, after dark, something like that. But they had bicycles there, but I couldn't ride them. At that time, when I was a kid, I never rode a bicycle or anything, and I had a heck of a time with them. They rode bicycles and walked with clumpum shoes or wooden shoes in the wintertime because of the snow, and the cold, and they put real heavy wool socks on underneath them. It was warm.
So who all was at the farm?
There was Weechie's grandfather, Weechie's mother and father, Weechie's two brothers, and another guy named Jared. There was two Jareds. One was Weechie's brother, Jared, and this other was Jared, who I don't know, he come out of where? Amsterdam or someplace. He come out there to live because there's no place for him up where he was at. And so he was out there with them.
Jane.
Huh?
Jane was there. Jane.
Jane.
Huh?
Jane.
Oh yeah, the girl, Johnny. She came to see me too after 34 years after I left her.
Is that right?
Yeah, she was pretty prosperous. Her husband was a contractor. Huh?
Yeah.
And they built churches and buildings and everything.
Was he Wheats's brother? Or sister? That's Wheats's sister?
Yeah, yeah, Johnny. That's more name for Jane. They call her Johnny. And, she was, I guess, about 13 or 14 years old, wasn't it? Something like that. She really enjoyed herself when she was down there. Her and her husband came with Wheatsy and his wife. She said she wanted to see me again.
No, she didn't speak English.
No, she didn't speak
Her
English.
husband. Her husband either.
No, he just very little. Carl didn't speak English either. Now, Carl was his brother, and he died after the war. And that one Jared died. The one that was there with him, he died shortly after the war, too.
Did you guys were at in Holland, could you see either your bombers going over?
Oh yeah, you could see the bombers, you could hear them, and most of the time they came out over the Holland area.
Yeah.
They went in up over the North Sea, and come down and come back out. They would come back out through Holland, Belgium, and France. That's where most of them were coming out.
Well, was there any German soldiers or Luftwaffe or anything around where you guys were at?
Well, I never got around to see any. I guess there was up at Leeuwarden. There was, always told me there was a German office there. So there's probably German soldiers around there. But
How far away was that?
about, I don't know, maybe 8-10 miles to Leeuwarden. But they would walk it to Leeuwarden. But I'm trying to think of the name of that town. Oh, Pindy was the town we was at. Oh, Pindy? Yeah, that was the town we was at. That was about 2 miles from their home.
Do you know how to spell that?
Opinda, isn't it? I think it's Opinda. And that was close to Weezy's home, where they used to go into the bakery or something. They'd ride a bicycle when they went there.
Did they tell you about when Germany had invaded? Did they talk about that much?
You know what?
When Germany had invaded them, did they talk about that much?
No, I tell you, Weezy said the only time in his life he ever saw his dad cry was the day that the Germans invaded Holland, and when Holland capitulated. He said he just couldn't be, he had to be a free man. And he says his dad cried, you remember? And he said, my dad cried something awful. But they, this is something odd about the thing, because they released the Dutch prisoners, the soldiers. They released them, sent them home to work. But they didn't do that with the French and the Belgians or any of them. But the Dutch, they released them. They didn't take them prisoners, but they sent them home to work in these camps. Amersfoort, I think it was, but I don't know where it is or anything. But they had all the young men up there working on, I don't know what they was working on, but probably something to do with military, probably something on the war.
Did they have a radio?
No, I didn't see one. If they did have it, I didn't. Because I remember that Jared, that was not part of the family. He used to come home and tell Weezy things that he heard, and then Weezy tell me. But I'm pretty sure they didn't have a radio. At that time I was there, they might have had a radio later or something. I don't know.
And then when you got to Stalag 17B, was that the first opportunity you had to send postcards home?
Huh?
When you got to 17B, was that the first opportunity you had to send postcards home?
Yeah, after I got there, after I was there for a while, they give out those cards to send home. I don't know, I don't think too many of them, got out. I don't know, but I used to send them, but I don't a lot of them didn't get them. Of course, you couldn't say anything, they just black it out, so if it was anything to do with camp or anything, it's all blacked out. In fact, this Roger Blazer that lived with me, that was in the same barracks with me, and he came from New York, and his uncle sent him a letter, and he must have been a radical, because all it was if and and what and nothing. The Germans crossed everything out. Blazer says, why in the world did they ever give it to me?
When did you get your first mail?
It was way close to the end of the thing. I never did get the cigarette parcels. My dad sent sent 2 or 3 cartons every month, but I never got any. And I think I got a letter from you, didn't I?
I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was a letter from you. Probably after about 14 or 15 months. Something, I don't know. They only brought it around about once a month, and then there wasn't too many. There was too much mail in.
Did you get anything from him?
Yeah.
You did?
His cards, and I got some letters too, Paul. They're in that logbook, but they're about that long.
Yeah.
Didn't you see them?
Yeah, I see.
And cards, postcards, yeah.
Did you guys ever have a night where like an Indiana night where everybody from Indiana would gather?
Oh, what?
When you were in prison camp, did you ever have like an Indiana night where everybody from Indiana would get together? Anything like that?
No, not that I know of.
No.
Uh-uh.
Did you get to camp before those 2 guys tried to escape and were shot?
I was there when they.
You were there when they?
Yeah, when they shot that boy up in the butt over in 34B. Everybody shot that day. Now you're talking about the time that we got the lime. Somebody got lime to put in the toilet in the barracks. The end of the toilet, the end of the barracks was the toilet, and they got some lime to put in there. And are you talking about the time those guys painted their clothes that white lime and went down from 36 down to the fence to cut it?
Yeah.
And that one, and I forget who he was, got excited right about the 2/3 of the way down and jumped up and run.
One of the guys' names was Procus. Procus or Proacus?
Yeah, he's the guy that was there begging and they shot him. That's what I didn't see it, but that's what they claimed. They said that they shot him just looking at him, shot him when he was coming back, you know. But I remember that. But all the guards shot. Just about like that. Well, you know, I told my buddy, I says, it's just like a bunch of rabbit hunters out hunt all day and never see a rabbit, and one rabbit goes up and they shoot, all of them shoot. That's what it sound like, you know, because they shot from every guard tower there was, and there was no sense in that, because the guard tower shot them, you know, it was right there at the corner of 36, barracks 36. But if that's the one you're talking about, where they put the lime all over their clothes and burrowed down through the snow.
Yeah. See, I didn't know they put lime on their clothes. I hadn't heard that before.
Yeah. It was that was the only big one I ever heard of. Of course, if there was one before, I don't know. But
no, that's the one. That's the one I was asking.
that's what, yeah. But they used this lime to cover their clothes. Didn't Bill know about that?
He got there after that happened.
Oh, he got there after it happened. Yeah. Well, I can't figure that out.
He got there New Year's Eve, and those 2 guys got shot on December 3rd.
Hell, I'm mixed up then. Wait a minute. I'm mixed up on that then. Maybe I didn't hear it, but maybe they told me about it. I think better not say I was there then, because I'm wondering about that. This was December 3rd date, but I got there before Christmas, I know.
Well, that works out.
Huh?
That works out.
Does it?
December 3rd, you could have been there by then, right?
Well, I might be there by then, but I'm just mixed up on it. But I know about it and everything else. Because they shot this kid in the butt in the 34. He was laying in the bed, and a bullet come through the barracks wall and hit him. So I don't know. I'll see if I wasn't there then. I was there awful close to it. But it seemed to me like I remember him taking the funeral procession down the outside of the road, the fence out there. I remember. Seemed like I remember that. I don't know. There's a good chance I was there, but if I wasn't there right then, I was dang close to it and heard a lot about it. So I can't remember real good.
Did you go to any classes? You know when they start up classes?
No.
You go to any?
No. I can't remember any of them that ever went to any school classes or anything. They had acting classes, I guess, over there. But where the theater was, this on the alley side of the White House, is where the theater was, and they used to go over there and act. Some of them pretty good.
Yeah.
They had some pretty good singers there. I remember this one kid wrote a song of something about, he took his girlfriend something, if the Waldorf was too high, will you settle for a beer someplace? I don't know what it was, but it had a pretty good hit. He was going to try to sell it, but I never heard of it after we come out of school, out of the camp. Of course, it was probably an outdated song by then because itty bitty fish and everything wasn't in there before we got there.
Itty bitty fish.
Yeah, down in the meadow in the little bitty pool, 3 little fitties in him, monofish too, huh?
Yeah.
Did you ever hear that?
Yeah.
That was what was popular in the States. Dozy oats.
Oh, there, nosy oats and there, dozy oats and what there?
Lambs
Daisy
eat,
notes and dozy notes?
Yeah.
and lambs eat ivy.
Yeah.
We never heard of them. We come back here and oh, what kind of a dummies are they here now?
Did you get to hear Paul Baker play?
Huh?
Did you get to hear Paul Baker play?
No.
No. The band there in camp?
No, I didn't. I never heard him.
No.
They, I don't know that, but they had some sessions where they allowed them to go out and go at night, you know, to the theater to hear. But I never went out after dark. I know of, except when they had to lit the camp up that time, and I went back to the toilet, to the trough. But the British lit the whole camp up and then bombed into Vienna or Wiener Neustadt, someplace in there. But I didn't go out very much after dark. In fact, most people I don't think they did. When I first got there, they used to come around and close the shutters. They had big shutters, wooden shutters on the windows, and they'd come around just about dusk and slow them shut. And then at 9 o'clock, we had about 3 light bulbs in there, and they'd turn them off then, about 9 o'clock.
No, they talking about this Terry Anderson. Well, he looked good to what he looked when he came back.
Yeah.
I don't know whether he had the heart or not, but make a big tattoo about, about him. But he's nothing but skin and bones. He looked like a skull. He's terrible.
The what?
Do you remember when they bombed Krems? They bombed Krems once.
They did?
Yeah.
I know they bombed some boats down there on the river. But I don't think they bombed the camp.
I'm talking about the town. I always thought that Krems. I'm talking about the town of Krems. Didn't it get bombed once?
Yeah, they bombed some boats down there on the river. Some fuel barges that were being pushed along there. And I don't know who it was, a guy like a struck told us that said that they caught the boats down there and they bombed them and sunk them there. So I imagine they were kind of skirting around, instead of taking them down the main tributary of whatever river it was, they could go around the edge of it to kind of get this fuel down there. But I know they bomb Wiener Neustadt pretty often. Now that's just south from Vienna, which is Vienna Neustadt. I don't know what Neustadt stands for, but they used to bomb that pretty often.
Do you remember a time when a couple of P-38s came over camp?
You mean down low?
Yeah.
No, I don't remember that.
No.
I don't know, I might remember, but
Come here, Bob. Lay down. Come on, lay down.
you mean they buzzed the camp?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that.
You might have been in the hospital for a lot of this stuff, because some of this stuff happened in the summertime.
Yeah, well, I was up to the hospital quite a long time, and so I don't know. I can't remember them buzzing the camp. We used to see the 17s go over, with the vapor trails and everything, but like I said, the only time my heart was in my mouth was when the Pathfinders lit up that camp. That's when OK Doe told me not to worry.
Why? What'd he say?
He says, "Don't worry." He says that they're lighting this up for the bomb run someplace else. They used it for the initial bomb run, and that's what Pathfinders would come over and light up an area, and then the bombers would come, and go off of that.
Yeah.
That's the reason I asked Bill if he got honed, if the cameras honed him and got him in there. Because once those lights, all lights get on you, you're done.
Yeah.
You never get out of it. But I don't know, was he a pilot or a co-pilot?
Pilot.
Pilot, huh? I never asked him, I never knew. All I knew was he was English, I knew he was an American, but I was flying with a RAF, I knew that. And of course, Hokey Doke was from Oregon or someplace up in there, and he was, maybe he's Idaho, I don't know. Anyhow, he was an American with the RAF also.
Did you get one shower there the whole time you were there?
Oh, I got a couple of times, 2 or 3 times I got showers. Every time before they come to make a camp inspection, the Swiss, they took us up there to give us a shower. But you still come back to the same lights and the palace And the same gloves you took off, you put back on. Maybe your underwear was different, but everybody thought that they put you in there and turn the gas on, because they put you in there, you know, and then they close the door and then they turn the water on, and just all sprays all over every place. And that's when you got a shower about every 3 months or so. But you could take a bath there, and what you call it, they had a tank where they, when the water was on, they'd fill it up. And then you could get water off of there to take a bath if you wanted to down there. Most that's what they did. But we used our hot water in the morning that they give us for coffee to wash too. First they used to give us coffee, and then they raised hell so much, told them to keep the coffee and give us the water.
And do you remember the searches that they had? They call them the picnics, when they took the whole camp out into the exercise field?
Wait a minute, the sergeant in the camp?
No, the searches.
The circus.
Searches. When the Germans took you all out of your barracks.
Oh yeah, the searchers, yeah. They'd run us all out. Then they'd search the barracks, and then they would search us on the way back in. And it was awful stupid of them, because why didn't they search us on the way out? Because all we had to do is leave it out there in the ground until they left, and go out there and get it if you want something, if you wanted to hide something.
Did you walk around a lot? Did you get a lot of exercise?
Yeah, we walked in the back of the toilet, the compound where we had to go out and get counted. We'd walk around there 2 or 3 times every morning and 2 or 3 times in the afternoon. Just go out there and meet somebody and start walking around. Either from barracks 16, 17, 18 in there. Why, we just walk around. But we couldn't. Barracks 18 and 19 were in a compound by themselves. But then there was 16, 15. 15 is the White House. I'm not sure if there was another one beyond that or not. But that was in a compound, so that, you know, the back of it, you couldn't go across. You had to come down and go through the alley, go down through the road and up. But we'd meet out there from maybe somebody from 18, barracks to 18, and walk around and maybe stand down there and just shoot the bull. And a lot of times we'd walk around a couple times after a roll call, because there's nothing else to do, and you're just dressed then, so. It was kind of bad standing roll call and snow and stuff out there. It was hard on your feet, I'm telling you, it makes your feet swell.
Larry, how about your march?
Yeah.
How long
We'll
you
get to it.
Here's my way. I'm afraid you're gonna forget something.
No, you're not gonna forget.
Yeah, but it was, you could walk all you wanted to, but most people walk just 2 or 3 times in the morning and in the afternoon, you know, when they get us out for roll call. And then one of the, you know, if we didn't line up right or we didn't do something right, they used to give us punishment. And they'd pick somebody out of the crowd and say, give them 5 minutes calisthenics. They'd get him out there and he'd get in front, you know, and they'd stand here and then we'd be back here and he'd be out here. He'd be doing these calisthenics like hell. And we'd stand back there laughing at him and the guy just watching him just keep going.
They just picked one guy at random?
Yeah, they pick a guy at random, put him out there to get 5 minutes of calisthenics because screwed up. And he's the only one that got calisthenics. The guy that stand back there and laugh at him, and the Germans out. But they couldn't do anything together. If one man, like our barracks, if one guard was there, he'd count it and he'd get the count right. But if they had a man here in the back counting, a man in the front, they didn't get 1/3 of the way down through that barracks until they was out in the middle arguing with each other and scattering it. They didn't seem to be able to coordinate together. And that was kind of a joke too for us.
Talk about the Russian compound. Could you see the Russians from where you were at?
Yeah. Did somebody tell you about the roll call?
No. What?
When the Russians be out there in the morning for roll call, you know, they give them their bread. The only thing they got was their bread ration, and they give them their bread ration by the count in the morning. And you'd see them start lining up over there early, and then maybe there'd be 3 guys here and another down here, a little part of 3 guys and stuff. So they'd have the count, and then they would turn them loose, go back to the barracks. Pretty soon they'd take off and go, and you'd see the Russians falling over. And they got they got those dead Russians and held them up between them to get the bread count up there. And that was a common, I mean, I don't, extra common, but I've seen it happen so a lot of times. And in fact, I didn't even realize what it was until one of the fellows told me about it, and he says, "You watch it." It happened.
What did they do with the bodies then?
Well, they'd probably get Russians out and they can pick them up and carry them back there and throw them in the big grave they had dug back there beyond the camp. They dug a big hole out there, and then they just throw the bodies in until they get a certain level, and then they'd cover it up with dirt and dig another one. Those mass graves, all it was. But I don't know if that American's body went into a mass grave. I doubt it very seriously. Because surely they'd have a record of it or something. They shot another American up there at the hospital. He went berserk and started climbing up the fence, and the guard from the tower shot him.
You remember his name?
No, I don't remember his name either. I don't remember too many people by name, you know. Oh, I like Roger Blazer and the guys we lived with, you know, me right close. But I can't remember the whole lot of them that were in the barracks. I know there was a good Jewish boy in the barracks named Lieberman. And probably Bill knows about him because he helped Father Kane a lot, and he even preached some Christian sermons for the guys that weren't Catholic nor Jewish. Of course, he didn't have anybody to preach to in there. I think there was only a few Jews in there, and they told this camp officer or staff sergeant, what was it?
Belmer?
Huh?
Belmer?
Yeah, no, the camp, the guy we elected to
Oh, Kurtenbach.
Kurtenbach to put them in the barracks by themselves, and he refused. He says they're Americans, they go wherever they go. But they told him down at one time to put them in the barracks by themselves, but he wouldn't do it. he was pretty starch about his ways. He believed in something, he wouldn't give in much. But he got along good with them, I think. And it was something, you know, for a staff sergeant to get elected for the, be to take charge of the camp with all the techs and the masters they had in there.
Did you ever even see the camp commandant?
I've seen the camp commandant, yeah. But most of the time we've seen the commandant for the Americans, Captain Peoples. He was the commandant. But I don't know what rank it was, but I don't know what his name was, but he had a vehicle that he used to drive around the edge of the camp. And he was the commandant for the whole camp. You know, do you ever realize how many prisoners there was in that area?
Yeah.
Something like 90,000.
Well, 20,000, I think.
Huh?
20,000, I think.
No, I'm talking about prisoners in the whole area.
Oh.
Russians and everybody. There was 90,000 prisoners in that area of the county because a lot of them worked out on farms. They were on factories. They were on railroads. They had enough prisoners in that area to take over the country. But I think that's the reason that they shut us all down there at 17B, because the flyers had some experience, you know, I mean, some training in escape, and so they put us in there and don't come out, you know, take it. The only time we got out of the camp, other than when you had to go to the hospital, was up there to take a shower. Then you was in there. You couldn't go over to the Russian compound. You couldn't go to the French or anything. 7A you could, but 17B you couldn't.
But that you used to see the German commandant right around the camp in a car?
Huh? Yeah, with a car, yeah. I'd seen him like that, but...
Kuhn was his name.
Huh?
Kuhn.
Kuhn, was that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was he, a general or something?
Colonel.
A colonel, Colonel Kuhn. Because we had, the American compound had this Captain Peoples, was in charge of the compound.
I've never heard of him. He was an American?
No, he was a German.
Oh, he was German.
German Captain Peoples. But he didn't have anything to do with the Russians or anything, just the Americans. This Kuhn, I didn't hear that word, but I knew he was the Garlock Struck said he was the complete camp commander. And I guess when you're camp commander like that, you're about commander on everything outside around the cities and everything else. You're the boss, I guess, and under the store, under their deal.
And then for the march, what group were you in? Well, how soon did they tell you before you moved out for the march?
Oh, I think probably about a week. I don't know. I would say about a week. I don't quite remember. But I know we had a chance to get our stuff picked up, you know, and get ready to go. But I think I was on about the second or third group out. I think the White House went in the first group, didn't he? And the White House and another bunch. I think they took the White House and another bunch out, and then they started just taking by barracks. And I can't remember how many men there were in a group.
I think about 500.
About 500, yes. You see, there was about a barracks in a group. And I do know that you heard them German soldiers About the first 2 or 3 days out, you heard them German soldiers say, long Sammy, and they want to slow down. They couldn't keep up. But then after a few days on the road, boy, it slowed down enough for them.
Who'd you buddy up with on the march?
Golly. Well, Roger Blazer, I was with him. He come from New York. And I can't remember Bill something from Michigan, but I can't remember his last name either. But that's about all I remember. I just...
Was he from your barracks, Bill?
Yeah, and Roger was from my barracks too, yeah. And that I can't remember too much about it. Because they got to mixing them up out there after they was out there on the road for a while. They'd just start falling in, and they'd fall in groups. And they didn't, I don't remember ever having a roll call when we was on the road. I remember the food coming in about every third day, but
What did you and Roger and Bill start the march with? What did you have in the way of food or cigarettes?
well, we had maybe some, I think we had some D-bars. We had cigarettes. We had a lot of cigarettes, which we intended to trade, but we never got a chance to. And but we had our clothes, and I had my overcoat, and I threw that away. Just too heavy to carry. And that's about all I could figure, They had they had a horse and a big wagon. And if the American got where he couldn't walk anymore, they'd put him on that big hay wagon or whatever it was, and let him ride for a while. But it looks to me like he'd get more shook up riding on that wagon. They're all walking.
Did you ever ride on the wagon?
No, I never.
So your legs and back weren't bugging you on the march?
No, it didn't bother me later on until, well, they operated on, where was it, Mom?
Were they operating on you?
Yeah, down here they finished it off. Was it in
Florida.
Florida, yeah. Miami, they cut it away and sutured it up, and it's all right now. But it can,
You got the scar yet?
huh?
You got the scar?
Yeah. But they, there's times if I get it hit just right, that it hurts, This little kid, what was it, Bill Hurting?
Yeah.
He come up behind me and hit me there, and I went down like a club. And that's the only time it ever bothered me that I know of, but well, it hurt.
Was Gerlach or Struck with your group?
Huh?
Was Gerlach or Struck?
Yeah, Gerlach and Struck were both took off with us, but I think it's sure I seen Gerlach up to the woods when they was taking the Germans prisoners, but I never seen Struck. I don't know what happened to him, but Gerlach, he was walking down the road, They didn't do anything with him, because there was nobody to take them, the prisoners. That I don't remember taking them away. I remember they had them out there, but I don't know what happened ever to them.
Did you guys ever carry their rifles?
Huh?
Did you guys ever carry their rifles?
No. No, I never carried them. No. Well, I guess some of the Americans got the guns, you know, and everything. But, well, I had a gun when I got down to Lucky Strike, and they took it.
Oh, I meant on the march because some of the guards were so old they couldn't carry their rifles.
Oh, no, I didn't know. No, I didn't. The march, you know, it was something else because the old guards was gone. You had the Wehrmacht there, and they had no food for us. And they would just get along the best you could, you know. I think if the old guards would have had some food, they'd have given it to us, but they were hurting for food bad as we were. And then Eisenhower had broadcast ahead, you know, over the BBC to tell the farmers to kill their cattle and store the meat and everything so the Germans couldn't get it. So they did that. And there wasn't anything. Very little. Only just what's in the land, you know.
Did your group ever get strafed on the march?
No, no. But one time I was worried about it because we were on that, you know where, you heard of Linz?
Yeah.
We were on that bridge when a air raid started went out. And I was scared to death we were going to get bombed in that bridge. But they went right on over, they didn't bother.
What was it, a big stone bridge or?
Yeah, it was across the, what is it, the Danube River?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big bridge. And it was probably one of the few bridges left across the Danube. And, but we were on there when the air raid come out. And everybody talked about that next, you know, we left from there the next morning and everybody was talking about, boy, I hope we don't get an air raid on that bridge. And I no more than started out there and got halfway across and sirens started to blow in Linz. But it was just didn't run nothing to it.
Did they hurry the groups up then?
Huh?
Did they hurry the groups up to get them off the bridge?
No, well, I can't remember where we stopped for a while or whether we kept just marching on. I think we marched on. Probably the German guards wanted getting off of the bridge too. Yeah.
Did you have any problems with German civilians on the way?
No, we didn't, but one of the groups, I forget what town it was, where they had some German fanatics run into them, you know, and everything. And they finally got it straightened out and got out of town. But there's only one group that I ever heard of that ever had any trouble. And that was just by the word of mouth, you know, and probably the next day when they told it. We liked to stay in barns, but they never had the barns available, you know, no barns. And the Germans didn't want us in the barns to start out with cigarettes and matches and everything.
And lice.
Huh?
And lice.
Yeah.
No wonder he scratches his head. Well,
Yeah.
really scratching it.
How bad was your lice at that time on the march?
Well, the lice, they weren't as bad as they were when you used to sleep in the paliats, you know, where they were. But you had lice until they got down to Americans where they deloused you. You could scratch.
So did your group ever spend a night indoors?
I'm trying to think. I think we spent one night in a barn, but I can't remember where it was. Because I'll tell you why. I remember some guy the next day had this chicken under his shirt. And we was in that barn, and that chicken was in there, and he grabbed it and wrung its neck and broke its neck, you know, and then shoved it on his shirt. And then the next night we was out in the open, and they had fires, and he pulled the skin off that chicken and ate it that night. That's the only thing I remember about being in the barn. It was against the law to take, you know, like them chickens and stuff. There's a penalty to it, a theft. But everybody always talks about it every time there's something, you know, oh, that's a death penalty. That's a death penalty, but I don't think all that was like that, you know. And probably with Gerlach and stuff, they probably wouldn't have said anything that late.
So you never had an opportunity to trade for food?
Do what? No, I never had any chance to, because we was always in a group, you know. And well, if I could have, if they wouldn't have fired on us when we come back, you know, where they was marching those Jews down there, and they were dropping over dead, and they was crashing their heads with the gun butts and everything.
You saw that happen?
Yeah, I would have thrown some cigarettes over to them, you know, but they said anything that was thrown from that group to that group we'd be fired up on immediately. So everybody stayed clear, and you felt so sorry for them.
You must have been in the first group that passed them then. One of the first groups that passed them. These guys were heading back to Mauthausen?
To where?
These are Jews that were heading back to Mauthausen? They were marching you by them?
Yeah.
They were in a group?
Oh, is that what it was?
No, I'm asking.
Oh, I don't know where they was going, but they were just, they were strung out all over. And they'd fall, and then they'd take a gun butt and crush their head. And I don't know where they were going. I'm trying to think where we seen them, you know. But I got a notation in my logbook about it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see nothing like that again.
Were they heading in the same direction that you guys were?
No, they were going one way and we were going the other. I don't know if any big prison down there.
Mauthausen.
Huh?
Mauthausen. It was a concentration camp.
Yeah, where at though?
I think that's the name of the town, to be honest with you.
And down in Austria?
Yeah.
Oh, well, might be they was headed there. I don't know.
But you don't remember seeing the concentration camp itself?
No. No.
Were they all in blue? Were the stripes in our uniforms blue?
They had civilian clothes on.
They had civilian clothes?
Yeah, they had civilian clothes on. A lot of them had the star up here, the Star of David, which they had to wear anyhow. And I don't know. Now in Holland, the Jews that they didn't take away, they had a Star of David on, but they were only allowed out a couple hours a day, and most of the time they weren't allowed out when the stores were open to get anything. But the Holland people, I guess, bought and took into them.
About how many would you say was in that group when you passed them on the march?
Oh, I imagine 200-300 at least. We matched, you know, quite a while past them. But that's the reason I knew they were Jewish, by the gold star. There was old men and old ladies, and young men and young, all of them. I just wonder sometimes if it wasn't, maybe they're rounding them up where they've been hiding or something, you know, I don't know.
How did they look? Did they look like they'd been prisoners for a while?
Yeah, they looked tired, you know, and I mean, they looked awful thin, face, you know. And they might have been some that was out on work groups that they were taking down there that couldn't work anymore or something, too, you know. I don't know.
But none of them were in the striped uniform?
No, none of them wore the I remember seeing them striped uniforms up there around Frankfurt when I was first taken, and they had them up in there disarming them Americans, hit and left, you know, there that didn't go off, and they had these Jewish men down there digging those bombs out and disarming them. I never heard no big bang, though.
But you saw them doing that?
Yeah, I saw them doing that, yeah.
Was that before or after they took you to Dulag Luft?
That was before, when I first went in there as prisoner. And, but we seen them on the way down to 17B. We seen the work gangs with the blue and white stripe, you know, and a round hat. Yeah, we seen them, but they had them all in work gangs.
Just at places where your train would stop, you would see them out?
No, I just, when we were in the marching yards, you know, and they have the boxcar door open, and waiting to go, you know, with another train. Well, you'd see them all around in the marching yards working, and the guards with them. Americans was pretty hard on the marching yards. The city that had marching yards, they bombed them pretty heavy. I guess they figured that, well, I guess it is right. They kill the transportation and they can't get no place. They can't move their equipment. But that was the thing with the Schweinfurt raid, was that it did away with our ball bearing business. And you can't produce an airplane without a lot of ball bearings. And they just couldn't produce.
This group of people that you passed, were they walking 2 by 2 or in single file?
Well, I think there was about 4 people across, but they weren't in any formation or anything. They took up half of the road, and we took up the other half. About all you could say.
And they would just kill them if they fell out?
Yeah, if they fell out, they killed them. But I don't suppose they had any way to hold them.
About how many dead did you see, do you remember?
Well, I don't know. I imagine I seen at least 25 or 30 people. And I seen the one guy get killed, so that makes it worse.
With the rifle butt?
Yeah. You know, like there in the camp, they carried these rifles on a strap. But the butt end of that rifle was drilled out and had a big hunk of lead in it. And when they come up behind you and they hit you in the back with that gun, with that lead, boy, it'll knock you down in a hurry. That's a hell of a hunk. But some of them had different ways. Some of them kicked like the Emden Kid, and others did different. Some of them slapped.
The guards that were moving those people, were they in black uniform?
I can't remember. I don't remember, but I thought they were German guards. But I thought it looked like they had some green uniforms, so that'd be the Army infantry. But I don't know for sure how many that, you know, if that was true or not, or they had some civilians too. Of course, the Germans couldn't trust the civilians that was left out there because they didn't believe in Hitler. The Wehrmacht barely, I mean, they were against him, there ain't no doubt about it.
Did your guards say anything to you guys after you passed that group then?
No, they never said anything. The only thing they did was make an announcement, you know, don't throw anything over across to those people.
What, they saw them coming?
Yeah. And then they, you know, they'd keep ahead of them and tell the Americans that they passed.
Show Paul where they kicked you, Larry.
Huh?
Show Paul where they kicked you in the leg.
I did, I showed you.
Did I? When did you see that? Today?
No, last time was...
I didn't.
He heard of the Emden Kid. He was a mixed up man.
Well, the Empton Kid pistol whipped Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a mixed up man because he lost his family and he just couldn't get over it. But I don't know how he done when he got up to the front.
So on the march, you just had to rely on whatever the Germans gave you then?
Yeah, I just, there were some green plants that you could have. You know, we ate like some dandelions one time, I remember we had, and everything, but they're not very tasty raw, you know, but they'd probably been all right with vinegar or something, but like that. But you mostly had to depend on what the Germans supplied, which wasn't very much. Some oats or old oats or something. When no place to cook it, just eat it, chewed it up.
Did you catch any cats or dogs?
Huh?
Any cats or dogs?
No, I never seen them. Probably if there was a cat or dog come close, some GI might have.
I thought you said there was a dog, Larry, they threw in the
Huh?
camp. I thought you said they threw a dog in the camp and got in that book.
Threw a dog in what?
The can when all came out with the collar.
Oh, Mom, that was the Russians over there.
Yeah.
They used to run the dogs in there for them Russians, and the dang Russians would throw the collar, toes, and hide right back out at them.
Yeah.
They quit it in a hurry.
I've heard of that, yeah.
Yeah. Well, they brought the dogs over into 34 one time, and this barracks chief from 34 hollered, "Bring pepper," and he knew they was coming, and he put pepper all along the door, bottom of the door, and they said that dog hit that, smelt that pepper, and turned around and took about a hunk right out of that German soldier's leg that had him on the leash. And it just went wild. Yeah. And that was over in 34 when I lived in 19, but everybody told about it. But the Russians, they didn't send them dogs after them anymore.
Do you remember seeing Russian women there?
No, I didn't. Of course, the biggest, you mean at 17B?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, well, I didn't have any contact with them. They might have been women there too, you know, but I wouldn't know the difference from far away, you know. They had a lot of Italians there. The King's Army, they brought it up there and put it in jail.
On a march, do you remember anyone trying to escape?
No, I don't. I'm sure there's a lot of them that did escape one place or another during the march. And then a couple of guys got out, was in the tank. And I remember they started hollering about something, and And this guy says, Indiana, and I says, me. And his name was what?
Sailors, wasn't it?
Sailor from Fort Wayne, Indiana. He was on the tank that liberated us. So when they said they had to go, they had to leave.
Here, Paul.
But we had to set a post up, they said, to hold the prisoners until the American ground forces got there. But they said, stay in the woods because there's still Panzer divisions in that area free. And that didn't do much good. But then he turned around and he looked at Beaumont, and Beaumont had this gun strapped on him. He said, you pillpushers don't wear them things.
That little captain said that to him?
Yeah. He says, you pillpushers don't wear those things. So he took it off then.
Now, which one was Sailor? He was one of the tank crew?
Yeah, he was on the tank crew. And I never seen him after that. In fact, I was never back to Fort Wayne enough to, to look him up or anything.
But just that one tank came up.
Yeah, just that one tank, and then there was, I guess, it might have been 2 days. The infantry come through and took them. I don't know whether they took the guards or whether they just let them go. I don't know, but yeah, it was a shame too, because some of them they were in Wehrmacht, and they was pretty nice, but some of these Americans are not very nice when they get a chance to be rough, and they pushed them around and took their watches away from them and took this and that and the other, which I don't think was quite right, but it happens. To the victor belongs the spoils.
So, what was it before the tank came that the guards nailed the flag to the tree?
Yeah. When they put us in there, that's when they nailed the flag to the tree. But we could hear. I remember we could look across the river, and we could see the white bed sheets flying from